Hello and welcome here now. This video is going to be in English. It's going to be my first video in English and I hope I will pull it off. I teach in Greece, yoga and meditation, so I'm not that familiar in teaching in English. Anyway, I'm going to talk about flat feet today and how you can do some exercises that improve the arch of the foot. So if you're ready, let's start. You're going to need for some of these exercises a tennis ball and a small cloth. It can be just a small kitchen towel. So just put that aside, and to start with, let me turn to the side so you can see it better. So to start with, let's just do a few stretchings, starting with toes. Just squeeze them and stretch them towards your body and away from your body for several times. And then continue with some flex point. Just keep your legs straight and straighten the toes away from your body, and then bring the toes towards your body. Just continue for some time. Okay, and now just also do some rotations from the ankles. Again, when you point the fingers, the toes away from you, make sure you really straighten them. And change the rotation. Okay, so for the next exercise, we're going to use the towel, the small kitchen towel. So stand up and place one foot on the towel. And now squeeze your toes to grab the towel and release. And squeeze the toes, grab the towel and release. And just continue like this for a few times. Really squeezing the toes, grab the towel and release. You can also stretch the toes up. So squeeze, release, stretch. Squeeze, release, stretch. Of course, you can do as many times as you like, and then just change legs and do the same with the other foot. Squeeze really hard and release. Of course, you can do this even with no towel or anything. It's just that if you have a cloth under your foot, it really helps to focus and feel behind your toes the cloth, so you can really squeeze it and then release. And it really strengthens the toes and also helps the arch of the foot to form. Put the towel aside. And now just place the tennis ball on the floor and press your foot on top. And just press and roll to have a small massage of the foot. Okay. And you can just do this for a few seconds or for a minute. It feels so good. Okay, and with the other foot, just press and roll. And make sure you roll the tennis ball throughout the foot. Okay. And now let's go to the more yogic exercises. I want to show you 2 yoga asanas that are very good for the feet, for the arch of the feet. So the first one is Vajrasana, where you will have to kneel down and keep your knees and your feet together. So I'll turn this way also so you can see. Okay, what I want here is to keep my heels together and try also to keep the inner ankles together. Okay, so I'll just stay here for a couple of seconds. If you feel the floor is too hard for your knees, you can always just roll your mat and keep it double, or even place a blanket on your mat and kneel on the blanket. For some people, it's very difficult to sit on their knees and arch this front side of the foot. So the other thing that you can do, and work slowly towards stretching this part of the foot, is to roll a blanket like this. Make a little roll of the blanket and place the foot on the blanket. So the stretching will be much softer. And you can stay here for a few breaths. And then in Vajrasana, how we can work this asana, which is super beneficial for the arch and the toes of the foot, is to tuck your toes under and leave the weight back to your heels. So now what happens here is that the little toe will be more difficult to touch the floor. So you can just help it with your hand, just opening the back of the toes and really pressing the toes on the floor. And something else we can do here is just put your hands on the floor and take control of your weight and lift the knees. Lift the knees up, bring the weight back, and again bring the knees down. And just repeat for a few times, lifting the knees and bringing the knees down. And you will feel such a good stretch behind your toes and the arch of the foot. And just couple times more. And place the knees down, straighten the legs, the foot, and relax. And final pose I want to show you, it's Virasana. It's very similar to Vajrasana. So before we kneel again, first of all, just straighten the legs, press the thighs down, press your knees down. Stay here for a few seconds. Okay. And now we'll get in Virasana, which is the hero pose. It's a very nice sitting position and it's very beneficial for the feet. So what we do here in Virasana, we'll show you with some support, is again we'll kneel like before, but now I keep the feet next to my pelvis and I don't sit on my heels. So I keep my knees together, but I take my feet apart just on the left and right side of my pelvis. What happens here is that you should have some space between your heels and your pelvis, okay? So in no way you sit on your heels. I'm sitting now on a pillow, on a bolster, just to make it a bit more easy. But if you feel very comfortable sitting in Virasana on the floor, of course you can just do that. So if your pelvis touches the floor, mine doesn't, but if your pelvis touches the floor, then you don't need any support. But if your pelvis doesn't touch the floor, you cannot sit on the floor, then you definitely need a support, and it can either be a pillow, a blanket, or blocks if you have at home. I will use a pillow just to show you. So what I do is I bring the pillow just in line with my ankles. I don't want the pillow, the bolster, to be further in. I just want the bolster so that I can sit on. And you can stay here for a few breaths or a few minutes. More you practice this pose, more you can stay in the pose. And how you work the feet here, what you want to do is to keep the outer ankles in and to keep all the toes on the floor. Okay, so you can also press the toes down with your hands. Just press the little toe down and also try to open the toes so that they can really stretch and touch the floor. And just make sure that any toe is not on top of the other. And with a straight back, you can stay here for a few breaths or for a few minutes. Something else you might want to take care of in this pose is your knees. So again, if you find the floor too hard, you can just put a blanket under your knees and actually under your legs. Or something else you can do is put some extra support behind your knees. So that would look something like this. Just take the blanket and pull it behind the knees. And then I would definitely need more height for my pelvis. There. And here it gets even more comfortable to sit for a few minutes. Okay? So, but before closing this video, I would like to read to you something from Light on Yoga, BKS Iyengar's guide in yoga, about Virasana, the last pose that I showed you, the hero pose. And so he is writing that regarding the effects and the benefits of this pose. So he says, the pose cures rheumatic pains in the knees and gout, and is also good for flat feet. Due to the stretching of the ankles and the feet, proper arches will be formed. This, however, takes a long time and requires daily practice of the pose for a few minutes for several months. Those suffering from pain in the heels or growth of calcaneal spars, they will get relief and the spars will gradually disappear. The pose can even be done immediately after food and will relieve heaviness in the stomach. So these are the benefits of Virasana. So I hope you learned something new. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to press the red button below to subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Namaste.